Good evening and welcome to Options Center. It is Tuesday, first day of this trading week. Tuesday, 9/5/23. Welcome everybody. The bell is about to ring here in about 2 minutes. I want to check up on ya, and I know that these videos have not been that great of quality, so I did kick up the internet speed. Hopefully that helps. Messed around with a few things, so we'll see how this one goes. And if you are new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and subscribe. Also, if you love this content, if this content helps in any way, please do like this video and or go in the description and check out some other ways to help out. So here we go. We're going to go on SPX on the weekly, daily, and 65. We're also going to see... We noticed that the NASDAQ is super strong and the small caps are super weak. So we're going to check out, the only thing that's holding up this market right now are the large cap tech stocks. So we're gonna kind of zoom through a few of those towards the end there. So stick around if you want to see those. Okay, we have SPX on the weekly time frame. We're looking at this at minimum being a bull flag in the long run here. So a possible A, B, C correction, where if A equals C, that will bring us down into this range here towards the bottom of the, looks like we're getting a little bearish price action there. Some alerts going off, but it looks like we'll, I think we'll continue to move, not in a straight line, very similar to all this action here. We'll get some bearish price action into the bottom of the channel at minimum. If we start breaking underneath, then we have something else going that this is considered a 1, 2, and a 3 would be much lower. A wave 3 would be much lower than this possible wave C. Okay, so on the daily, let's move over to the daily, and there's the bell. Daily time frame. Trend is our friend. Okay, so you see this rising pivot. We have hit that pivot. We have hit the top of this wedge. We have hit resistance, past resistance and support. We have hit these 786. We have done so much to satisfy the reversal needs. Now, do we reverse from here? I think so, but it is possible that we still have another push higher if tech is gonna keep doing this. I don't really think so. We're gonna run through a lot of those tech stocks to see if there's room to run for those, and then we'll kind of determine that. But we have rates in the dollar just skyrocketing. This thing should turn around pretty quick here. We do have let's see here. Go a little tighter here. So we do have this trend line that we bounced off of. I'm starting this trend line here. We have the close underneath the reversal candle, possible reversal back here. So, I do think there's a top end, but we're probably going to see some neutral price action in this area. We break down below this trend line and we are off to the races to the downside. I am bearish. Let's go ahead and put on some indicators here. All right, so we have the MACD kind of curling back over right now. We are right at that zero line, so we're pretty neutral. Again, we're probably going to come into a balance here. We are over all the moving averages, but I do think this is just a check back before we head lower. The MACD does have that cross, but so we do have to, respect that and say, hey, there could be some more upside. If you were able to watch my video from the other night, I was saying, hey, this is a three-way move up. It's well-defined three-wave move up on the daily time frame. So, how can we go higher? Well, it's possible that we hold this area down here. It's possible that we hold on the SPX, the 444 area, 4444 area. We hold that, and also the 20 simple moving average And it's possible that we have an ending diagonal to the upside. It is very possible. So we have to watch out, respect that we have this crossover bullish cross on the MACD. And so we'll see what kind of shape we're in around that 4444 area. Okay, we start, like I said, you start to break down from that area. We start to break down, then we're full on to the back to the bearish scenario. I mean, we're still on the bearish scenario, but we have to watch out for this ending diagonal. And the ending diagonal, if you're not familiar, is made up of 3 waves. It's a 5-wave move. It's going to be a 5-wave move to the upside. All 5 waves are made up of 3 waves. Okay, so 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down, and 3 up to finish. If that's the scenario, that would be an alternate scenario. I am not guessing that will happen. We're starting to see, so off of the MACD, so we have to respect that bullish crossover. But on the RSI, we have our divergence. We have that slight divergence here where we made a new high right into that pivot, that rising pivot, rejected off of it. It gave us a slightly lower high in the RSI, giving us negative divergence. So that's that sell signal here. Now we're starting to cross over on the Stoke RSI. So we're looking possibly into tomorrow. If we get another negative day, we're going to get this crossover here. That's going to give us another sell signal. But we have an early signal here where you have divergence, negative divergence right there as well. Real tiny, but it's there. And it's enough to satisfy a reversal on this bounce. Okay, same thing here. We got this early sell signal where the leader line is crossing, but one more negative day, and it looks like we'll have some sort of sell signal crossing the 80 on the slow Stoke. All right, so let's go over to the 65-minute. We'll put on the oscillator. Let's see what's happening here. So we're rejecting off of the old oversold area, coming back into that neutral zone. So again, that's we had this huge bounce, came back into the oversold, and now moving back. Yes, could we make a higher low? Sure, it's possible. Let's see here. We can draw a trend line, draw a trend, and if we start breaking that trend, then again that will be some sort of that would be some sort of sign that we're headed lower. So we haven't crossed there yet. This could bounce from there, and if price makes a higher high, then that will probably give us a lower high here on the McClellan oscillator. So that's something to look at. Just a different point of view. We have the Bollinger Bands. We're not really doing much on that. The 20 moving average down here is much lower. It's right around that 4,200 area, 4,250. Do expect to get there. Summation, we're back testing. We talked about this already. We had this trend line up here, broke down from it, and now back testing. Very weak. There's a nice large move here, but a very weak move here in the summation index, indicating that this bounce is weak. This is just like the large stocks, large tech stocks pushing us up. This is not confirmation that we're going to get new highs and continue on higher. Just another clue why we're bearish. Okay, let's go to the 65-minute. Put on the 65-minute board. Take off some of these. Let's take off the indicators. Let's go with this one. Okay. Now, we think that we have an initial impulse move that is a leading diagonal made of 3 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're having a bounce right back into this wedge top. Hit that wedge top. This trend line back tested the trend line after breaking down from this trend line. Back testing it. Beautiful back test with negative divergence. Those are the clues that's telling us that, hey, we're gonna head lower. We just don't know win yet. I do think it started already, but we'll have to see what price action brings us. Today we had we moved sideways, and right at the end here we had a lower move. So we're gonna have to continue to watch. This is a very shallow bounce. So is this a 1-2? Is this some sort of 1-2, and then we continue lower? That's a very shallow bounce, which would mean that we're super weak, and this move is going to be pretty extreme if it continues. So we'll have to look out for divergences. It looks like we made a slight low here. That's where the alerts were going off. And so let's see if we have any divergences to the upside. And it doesn't mean we can't burn through them. Let's see what kind of... So the indicators weren't able to even pop back up. We're in this oversold area, just oscillating. Look at this. Look at this. Just like this move here, price can still go down. This can just oscillate, sideways underneath the oversold area. Price can go down from here. We had our sell signal with divergence, and now moving down, we have more divergence here. We can move this sell signal. We had another sell signal here, and just a little over here. We had our bearish crossover in the MACD, sell signal in the RSI. We're very weak in the stochastics. So we can go lower from here. Are we looking for a bounce? There's no divergence happening. I guess there's slight divergence here, but we're not even in the oversold area. So you got to be careful with that. It could just keep going down. Just keep pushing the strength. It can get much weaker. All right, we're not even in an oversold area on the 65 minute. So I'm not sure that this is going to bounce into tomorrow. I think we're going to head lower. All right, we can kind of jump through a few of these. Oh, you know what? Let's go to the Elliott wave. Let's check out the Elliott wave count before we go. The hourly. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the yellow, counting that. We have our A, B, C correction. Are we through with this wave C? That's what we're trying to guess with this weak price action. I'm not sure that we're going to bounce any higher. This could be, we'll just have to see what happens. In the short term, maybe this is our initial move, our lower degree wave 1, and maybe this is just an AB expanded, and then we come back up here for a C, for a deeper retracement before heading down. So, this price action here, we're going to have to let it play out. We are short. We do have a little bit of protection, call protection, but not much, because we're on the daily time frame, we have our reversal candle. We closed underneath the reverse. We're not looking like we're bullish at all. Possibility that we still go up and get tagged at 786. Yeah, if tech is going to be strong tomorrow, maybe that's what happens, but we'll have to see what tech has left. We came into the resistance zone, rejected off it. This is support, resistance. We're back at resistance, rejected off of it, and we're starting to move lower. Do I think this move is over? I do think it's over, but it's possible. I see a 5-wave move in here, but it's still possible that for some reason, if we might be counting this wrong, or if this is a bullish setup and we have a 1, 2, 3, and we get a wave 4 and a wave 5 up here, and then we get a pullback where price, if you get a 5-wave move up in here, not an ABC, but a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we're talking a pullback and then much higher prices. This is possible. Another wave 5 rather than this being the top. We have to get another high. All right. So that's maybe I should show you a bigger picture just so you can get an idea of what I'm looking at. Here's the Elliott wave picture, larger picture, wave 1, wave 2, and that's not a flat. This is zigzag. Rejection off the 786 from all-time highs, or from the last high. And then a wave 3 down here. wave 4. I was guessing if there's alternation here. If this was a flat, if this is zigzag, I'm going to switch these, where wave 4 should alternate and be different from wave 2. That's a nice sharp zigzag for wave 2. So this wave 4, when we get down here, should be sideways, some sort of flat or triangle, something of that sort. So we're going to look at price action. This 1618. That's a projection for a wave 3. So you have wave 1, wave 2, and a projection is 162% move of wave 1. So measuring it from here, the top of wave 2, potentially if we have our top in, then wave 3 should come down to about the 4100 area, which would bring us right into this chop zone that we were talking about. That's our that's where we think that price will have some time to consolidate. Nice wave 4 bouncing in this area, and we'll see it on a different time frame as well. But you see this consolidation area. Let's see if we have it in our. We have our consolidation areas. I put this green zone here because that's where price is chopped. In the past, this is a choppy zone. So we look to get back in here into this zone. Price is probably going to bounce back and forth and take some time. That's where it's likely that our flat or triangle or some sort of time-consuming price action is going to take place if we get down there. Yes, we could just bounce off the top here, but it's likely that we get into the zone and chop around for a while before continuing to the downside. Okay, we can zoom through a couple of these. Let's look at the 65-minute again. Okay, so our 65-minute, you see this trend line, a breakout from there. We're just back testing. So we're kind of filling out that, that area. Now, if we get slightly lower, we make a lower here, then this possibly can be a leading diagonal to the downside. So this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Where we fill out this wedge, and then we break to the upside for a retracement before failing lower. So that's possible, but if we continue and just start breaking down from this point, this is going to be counted as something else. It's going to be much more bearish. It's going to be something like a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then continue lower. So we're holding on to our shorts. Even if price does retrace, as long as we see a 5-wave move in here, you see a 5-wave move. Have we gotten lower here yet? Let's see. This is 4,500. The low here is 4,500, and we have this low as 4,500 as well. So I don't know. I don't think that really qualifies. It's a double bottom. So, I think we should see a slight, even if it's just 50 cents, slight move lower than 4,500, and we can consider this a 5-wave move. And then if we get some strength tomorrow, we can retrace possibly 62%, which would probably be back to the top of the box where this resistance played. Failed here, but we have a failure here. Where you see it's good resistance. We'll probably retrace all the way back up there. And if you have a 5-wave move, that will probably be a 3-wave move up. We'll keep our eye on it, on the structure. And then we get a much lower move to the downside. This will be a 1, 2. Now it's possible that this is even more bearish, a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we start continuing much lower, much faster. Should be more of a grind to the downside. Okay, so after price kind of felt bullish today, it was rejected and continued to the downside. So what do we have here on NQ? NQ kind of says a little bit of a different story here. So back testing here, but rejecting. Now, this can't be a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup because it's already above this this potential wave 2 there. So we'd have to count this in a different way. They're trying to confuse you. So this would have to be, if we continue lower from here, this would have to be a initial wave 1, and this at A expanded, B, and C. This would have to be a flat, an expanded flat sideways, and you continue price action to the downside. And if we have a weak day tomorrow, that might confirm that. We definitely, if we get underneath this point, that's going to confirm this. We are not set up the same way as ES. This is not a 1-2-1-2 setup. It's a little bit different. If this is bearish, this is a 1 and then a 2 rejection here. So if we go over to our Elliott wave, we're gonna go ahead and see if how far we retraced here, just to check. So let's go ahead and add a retracement from the bottom of wave 1, top of wave 1 to bottom of wave 1, because we don't do it from the bottom here. That's not our initial move. So we retraced right back at that 62%. That's going to give us trouble. We start getting on top of this 62% and using it as support. That's going to be more of a bullish play. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We're rejecting back from the 62%, which is a great 1-2 setup here. It's a bear setup. And we continue lower. We'll have to see what kind of price action we get tomorrow. See if we get some follow through. If tech will get somewhat weak, this. Otherwise, the small caps already had this huge move. If the small caps bounce from here, because it's already back at support, this breakout zone, it's at least close now. If price action starts to bounce, and we've seen an initial move here, maybe this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, and it wants to bounce, and tech is also strong, then you're going to see some bullish price action in the market, in SPX and ES and SPY. So that's something to look out for as well. I want to show the VIX. VIX here on a 65. We have what I think is a bullish setup. We have, it appears there's a 5-wave move up here, a leading diagonal, and we had our retracement back into the 786 area, which is part of the golden zone. And I do expect a bounce here, which means that we have our top in the market. We do have a nice engulfing candle starting off here on a 65-minute. We're getting a bounce out of the golden zone. I suspect that this continues to the upside. This is a 1-2, and maybe if there's some more time to be wasted, then we'll get another 1-2 setup. It could be 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then start lifting off eventually here, coming up soon throughout this week or leading into next week. So a couple of things. Let's look into Apple. Let's look into some of these big tech stocks, and then we'll end it from there. So stick around just for a little bit more. And also, if you want to help this out, this information is really good for you. Please go ahead and help us out in any way you can down in the description. You see the price action here is triangulating. Let's see if we get this. We probably have another divergence here. Let's go ahead and put on some of these indicators. We have this wedge that's leading up here, a nice wedge, an ABC pattern. I do believe this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. I do believe this pattern has completed. We do have a trend line that we're resting on right now. So we break down from that trend line with any weakness into tomorrow, then we should see some bearish price action in the market and a continuation to the downside. We have another bearish divergence here, making a slight new high. We have bearish divergence. We have a bearish crossover on the MACD. We're looking bearish here. We actually have a little divergence, even though we're oscillating on the downside. But we have our slow stoke here that might be crossing over pretty soon. We do have bearish divergence on the slow stoke as well. If you go to the Elliott wave picture, we could actually add on we could see if the Elliott wave oscillator, I don't have it ready here. I can go ahead and put it on here. Let's see if the Elliott wave, the Elliott oscillator, yes, the Elliott oscillator has divergence as well. So that means we have crossovers on the moving averages. So we have bearish divergence starting here. So we have a double bearish divergence here on the Elliott oscillator, which gives us a clue that our move is over. Our 5-wave move is over. That we had wave 4 and wave 5, and that should roll over as soon as tomorrow. Okay, so we have Amazon. Now, Amazon's in a little bit more bullish scenario. It came down, looked like it was going to break down from this trend line, but it's just really just back testing. Now, this really looks like it could be a 1-2 setup and continue lower, but Amazon actually looks like it's possible to 3-wave move, and maybe after that, maybe we get a higher level here. Again, like these, it's possible that we go higher, and maybe it's on the back of somebody else except Apple for once. So Amazon looks like it has potential to move higher, could break down from here, but potential to move higher. That's what we're looking for, is do these mega stocks actually have any real potential to move up? We're right here with Meta. We're right in the downtrend line here. You notice that the downtrend line, you can kind of move it in a couple different directions, but looks like we're right at it again. Looks like we're ready. We made a divergent high here, broke down, back tested, hit the trend line, and I do think we reversed from here. So I don't think that Meta has any room. I think Apple's breaking down. I think Meta's breaking down. Amazon has potential to the upside. I think Google, with all these divergences to the upside, we have a lot of divergences here. We rejected off of the top of there, and we have a 1-2 setup. This is a 1-2, 1-2 possibly, and we're rejecting here, and I think we see lower prices in Google. I think price action in Google is exhausted. I think it's over. I don't think there's any more room for Google, but let's check out Microsoft. And these trend lines go back to the beginning of these moves, the wedges. We have a rising pivot, rejecting off those. They're clearly valid. You see the price action holding on, gapping down, back testing and heading down. Back tested it again and broke down. Back testing right now today again. So we'll probably see a divergence here as well. So we have the price action making a higher high, which this to me would be an A, a B, and you see that 5-wave move here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You have a 5-wave move here to complete a C. So the structure's there. We're starting to get early crossovers. I don't see any divergence from price. It's equal from this high here. But I don't see any divergence necessarily from that point. We're at the highs. We're at the highs of the MACD. We're at the highs of the RSI. Don't see any divergence, but we are at those extreme levels. So getting that early crossover from the Stochc RSI, and it looks like we might try to cross over here on the slow Stochc as well. So any weakness tomorrow, I think again this is very limited on where this can go at this point. So it looks like we're trying to close that gap. Just slightly missed the close of the gap. So maybe we have one more slight high going in tomorrow. We'll have to see if Microsoft has anything in it. Now, Tesla did most of the heavy lifting today, but as I was showing in the Discord, so check that out. It's a free Discord. As I just jumped in there for a little bit today. I wasn't very active, but I just showed all we're doing is a back test. Nice big move, but all it's doing is the breakdown from the wedge. We satisfied an A, B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a 3-wave move, broke down from the wedge and just back tested today. It's a simple back test. Although such a big move, it went right to the options expected move. And I do expect to see price action at minimum back to this 245 price area. So that's a minimum move to retrace back this week, and then we should be looking for much lower prices going into the next following weeks. No actual sell signals yet. We're back into the overbought territories. No actual sell signal, but MACD could easily cross back over from here with a solid down day. And these we have our initial move here, and then we have a retracement. Now we're setting up for another 1-2, so we could head much lower, much faster than, that was a big move, like 6% move on Friday, but we could see a lot more to the downside, a lot faster. Some 10% moves are likely to come here pretty soon here. So something to watch out for. Just a back test today with Tesla. Is a simple back test of the wedge that it broke down from Friday. Now, NVDA, let's go ahead and get those out of the way. Same thing, just back tested here last week. Price rejected off of it, and we're having just a little bit of trouble breaking down from this rising pivot here. So just holding on to it today. Is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And do we have a little bit more retracement? That's possible. We could see a little strength in the video tomorrow for a little bit more retracement. Or if this thing's going to lead us to the downside, then another potential 1-2, 1-2 setup here to go much lower. Okay, so the bearish setups are here. Let's just see if we get those follow throughs. Now on SPY, we'll just get a little different look here. We'll go to the 65-minute, and we had our channel. The channel broke down from the channel. It's the same uptrend line that we were looking at, SPX. Back tested perfectly and rejected off of this island gap as well. Right at the back test of here. Can we actually go a little bit higher and back test that channel at a higher price? That's possible. That's what we're looking to see if price action happens that way. But either way, we're in a bearish setup now, and if we go higher, that's another objective short. Okay, we could go back into this downtrend line that I made with this potential channel from the top and see the options expected move up here right at the channel by the end of the week. If we're bullish for the rest of the week, then going into next week, this is another potential short position. Okay, and then the bulls are going to argue that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 wave 5. Which is a valid argument because it'll look like we have 5 waves there, and we'll look for a pullback for a wave 2 and then higher prices. So that's something to keep in mind, is that we could go a little bit higher. I think where the reversal's in, but if we show some strength tomorrow, then maybe we go a little bit higher. Then I'll take off the call protection and reverse short again. Now, QQQ was the one that kind of led us up today. So again, that's like it's potentially the one that's going to take us a little bit higher if we do. You see how weak the small caps were, but if the small caps bounce and then you have the triple Qs headed up as well, you're going to see the market get another high, and that's that scenario playing out. So we'll have to see the price action that happens tomorrow. You have this rising pivot right here. That price held on the rising pivot here today. Now, to me, just looking at this at a glance, this looks like a 1-2 setup. Here on the Qs, we saw that on NQ that we had an expanded flat. Well, this one looks pretty straightforward as a 1-2 setup to retest that gap there, and we get much lower prices. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. If we're bearish, it should be pretty obvious going into tomorrow because we're going into a third wave. Okay, if this is a potential 1-2 setup, we're going again. This is a setup for a bearish move. Quite some quite some room to move. It should be pretty impulsive. The only other thing that should slow it down if this is a bearish setup is you possibly get a 1-2, maybe another 1-2 setup, and it takes a couple days to really wind up and coil up and then start moving fiercely to the downside. And that's pretty much all I want to show you. We'll take another look at a different at the VIX rather than the VIX futures. We had the support here that we're looking at on Twitter. We have the support here that we got to and bounced off of. So I do think the lows are in for the VIX, but it's, we have to tell with price action tomorrow. We'll have to figure it out. So I am bearish. I think that price has already reached the top and we should continue lower. So that's all, you guys. Thanks for joining us here at Option Center. Have a wonderful day. We will talk to you tomorrow.